Yeah, you guys made fun of me for my blue lights. Look who's talking. Yeah, now you can't lie. This actually looks pretty dope. So I don't want to hear no, oh, LOL, blue lights, blue lights. This looks dope, all right? I don't want to hear nothing. This, you gotta admit, this is pretty dope. Okay? Pretty dope. Another short video. I'm gonna try to kind of give my thoughts on can you daily a manual 370Z, and hopefully for you guys that are planning on getting a Z or that want to get a manual, if it makes you feel better, this is my first manual car I've ever owned, so I'll just give you guys some little advice on what it's like. I already kind of knew how to drive manual. Like, I knew how to drive manual, I just wasn't perfect at it, but I already knew how to drive manual. You guys that want to get the manual Z 350, well, this is gonna be mainly for the 370. Get the sport package. So whenever I was looking at these cars, I did not want to get a base model because one, it doesn't come with a limited slip, it comes with an open diff. Second, the gauge cluster right here, like, it won't show you what gear you're in. Like how it says in, like, it won't tell you what gear you're in. So like, it's kind of just a peace of mind to know I can just look at the gauge cluster, not have to look down at the or not have to look down at the gears, because I can see what gear I'm in just by looking at the gauge. So like, I know before I let out the clutch, okay, like I'm gonna go to 6th gear, okay, and then I let out the clutch. So that's a really nice thing to have. And then it kind of just helps you memorize. I used to, when I first started driving this car, I would always just look at the shift knob as I shifted every time, just so I knew what gear I was going in. And then over time I got used to it, and I just started looking at the tachometer or the speedometer. Well, I started looking at the gauge cluster, and I got used to it. So that's one thing I really recommend, especially when you want to put it in reverse. The way these cars are is reverse is basically by 6th gear. You have to push down and go over, like as if you would to go to 6th gear. So it's nice sometimes because it's like, why am I not going, oh, I'm in 6th gear? And because it shows me on there. But if I had like a base model, I wouldn't know. So I'd just be messing with it longer. But it is nice to have. And then also, so here's a life-saving part, rev match. So I drive with it off, but for people who are beginners like me, when I had it, I kept rev match on, and what that does is it will automatically rev match the car. So when you downshift, it'll automatically rev up to the correct RPM it needs to be at, and then even when you upshift, it will hold the RPM at what it needs to be set at, so it's always going to be smooth. So that is a very big selling point, or that is a very big point I can't stress enough, is to get rev match. Get one that has rev match, use it, practice with it, and then eventually you can do it on your own. You won't need it, but I strongly recommend get a 370Z that has rev match in it, because you can always turn it off. But it's very nice, and especially it saved me, because when I would, it's happened twice where I've gone from 3rd gear, I've gone to 2nd by accident, and I kept rev match on because it's going to shift it perfectly. And when you money shift it, before you let out the clutch, it's going to rev like super high because the rev match automatically comes on. So if you have it off and you're going into 2nd gear, you're not going to know until you let out the clutch, because the car's not going to rev match. But because you put rev match on, it's already going to rev up to the RPM it needs to be at. It's already going to rev up to what it needs to be at. So the fact that it did that, I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of looking over to my left, and I went to shift to 4th, and I just hear it go boom. And I'm like, I look down and I'm like, oh crap, like I'm going to 2nd gear. So it's rev match has literally saved my transmission and my motor twice. That's happened twice to me, from going from 3rd to 2nd. So strongly recommend getting rev match just because of that. So like, as you can see, I'll turn it on right now. You'll see that little S right there, and I'm gonna be coming up to this light, and all I gotta do is just, I don't even have to touch the gas, just clutch in and then downshift, fourth, third, just like that. And then same thing for the upshifts. It'll be perfect every time. So I'll keep it on. It'll be super smooth. So just driving normal. And I didn't even have to hit the gas. I love it. Like, you don't even have to hit the gas. It will hold that RPM perfectly. So it's very, very impressive, especially since this was the first car to incorporate that kind of feature. So really, really, really cannot encourage enough. Get a Z with rev match if you're if this is going to be your first manual car. Get a Z with rev match, because you can always turn it on or off. And I drive with it off now, but when I first started driving with the car, I always had it on, just so it could help me. And it helps you with pre-clutch wear, so you're not riding your clutch or being too hard on it when you downshift. Because downshifting, rev matching when you downshift is going to be the hardest thing to do. It's easier to go from first to second, third to fourth, because you can just hold the gas a little, but downshifting is going to be the harder thing to learn, at least for me. So those are like just the little things. Those are just like the two more important things I stress, and it's nice to have the bigger brakes and a limited slip. But as a daily driver, this thing's been great so far. And just people say, oh, traffic, like the OEM clutch is pretty light. Like, it's been fine for me. Just you gotta do that slave cylinder upgrade, but also change your clutch fluid a lot. If you change your clutch fluid a lot, it really isn't that bad. And the clutch is super light when you first change the clutch fluid. So just change your clutch fluid a lot, and just really use that rev match from when you need it for the start as you get used to it. But also what I do is when I'm like in traffic or something, instead of being on someone's like butt, I'll keep a good distance, so I'm not constantly having to put like constantly having to shift, like neutral shift. I'll just like keep it in like second gear when I'm in traffic, and just kind of keep a good distance away. So all I'm doing is just like creeping, so just easier on the clutch. And then also just skip gears. I'll go first, second, fourth, sixth. So that's just how I drive the car. So first, second, fourth, and that's just how I'll drive it. Then going down the hill, just neutral. Like, that's how I'll drive the car. So really can't recommend anything else. Just takes practice. Use the rev match, really take advantage of it. It's there for a reason. So, and also guys, just as a daily, it's really not that bad. I mean, you're having fun, you know what you're getting into when you get a manual. It's fun. Yeah, there's gonna be traffic, but I mean, I drive in Houston. I've driven this thing for almost a year now, every day, and I haven't really complained about it. And like, yeah, traffic can suck, but if you just keep a good distance and like just not ride them, because like, what's really the difference when you're on someone's butt and you keep a bunch of cars behind them? Okay, yeah, someone's gonna get in front of you, but like, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get anywhere faster. Like, you're still just gonna be stuck there. So there's really no point in like just riding them. So that's just how I look at it. You just gotta have more patience in this car when it's manual. So that's all I gotta say, guys. So I'm at the gym now, but that's all I really gotta say is just get a Z that has the rev match, and then has the cluster that shows what gear it's in, and just practice. So, and as a daily driver, I think it's fine. Like, the clutch can be tricky, but again, get the rev match and you're fine. You'll learn the clutch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna keep trying to put out some videos for you guys, and thanks for watching. Thank you for all the support recently, and I'm gonna do my best to be building this car for you guys. So thanks for watching.